That's Marcellus Wiley, that dude.
Yes, sir.
Welcome to Speak For Yourself, the most fearless show in sports. Coming up, we'll tell you why the Rockets' obsession with the refs is going to cost them. But we start today with Kevin Durant. All right, with LeBron James sidelined from the playoffs and distracted by his interest outside of basketball, there's a race to redefine Golden State Warriors star Kevin Durant as the best player on the planet. Bulls great Scottie Pippen says he can definitely see a comparison between Durant and Michael Jordan. Former player turned NBA analyst Richard Jefferson says Durant is the most unguardable human ever created. Yesterday, Fox Sports Radio host Doug Gottlieb stopped by my dressing room to compare Durant to six-time MVP, six-time champion, and all-time leading scorer Kareem Abdul-Jabbar. Last week, when Durant vanquished the Clippers from the playoffs, Lou Williams gave the best summation of the new perspective gaining momentum about KD.
Sometimes you come across special people, and it doesn't matter what you send to them. It's no scheme. It's no defense. It's no nothing that you can do with special people. He's one of them, and he showed it tonight. He put them guys on his shoulders, and even the game that he came out, he was like, "I'm Kevin Durant. Y'all know who I am," and that's a bold statement to make when you're about to go see some guys that's extremely competitive. And he came out that game and he said, I can really shoot over these guys. And he did it. So it wasn't lack of effort on our part. He's an all-world professional, and he proved himself. He proved exactly who people think he is, who he think he is himself, and he did it. And you tilt your hat off to a guy like that.
Okay, now it's my turn. Kevin Durant is the smartest player in basketball. He's played a very patient game of chess, while many of us, including yours truly, have evaluated him like he's playing checkers. When Durant left Oklahoma City for Golden State, I labeled him as soft and sensitive. The truth is, his move to the Warriors was driven by his understanding of the game and his understanding of Russell Westbrook. It wasn't soft, it was brilliant. Durant moved away from a dumb, selfish culture to a smart, unselfish one. It's exactly what he needed at the time. He had to get away from Westbrook's toxic style. Why settle for the second or third best culture? Go for the best. Have you been listening to what Durant has been saying this season? Whether he's talking about the fall of the American media business model or the way the Clippers defended him early in their playoff series, Durant routinely sounds like one of the smartest guys in the room.
We hear David and Goliath a lot growing up, so that story is pretty much prominent in people's minds. So when you put that out there on the court against me, then the ref's gonna give him a little bit more. So when he run up on me like a pit bull, grab me, hold me, I don't mind it. That's how he make his money. That's how he feed his family. But if I throw something back, then let us play. I'm not gonna get in the way of the game because, I want to have a little back and forth with Patrick Beverly. I'm Kevin Durant. You know who I am.
Durant's sensitivity and thin skin are really the sin of intelligence. He thinks too much. He knows too much. He's introspective and self-aware in a real way. He engages with and responds to his critics because he has a fearless curiosity. Smart people operate outside their bubble because they seek enlightenment. People pretending to be smart create public bubbles, like HBO talk shows, where they engage with sycophants and promote it as authentic, fearless conversation.
Woo.
Before his career is done, Kevin Durant might outsmart everyone and wind up the true challenger to Jordan's throne. All right, joining the desk now is Fox NBA analyst Iceberg Jim Jackson, and making his Speak For Yourself debut, former NBA champion and Kevin Durant teammate Kendrick Perkins. Welcome to the show.
Thanks,
Marcellus, I'll start with you. Does KD's intelligence make him misunderstood?
Oh, absolutely. And it's not just his intelligence, but we got to think about the people who are truly genius at anything. Usually they take two paths. Either they're despondent, they kind of stay away. Kareem Abdul-Jabbar, like, man, y'all ain't smart enough to even have small talk with me. Out my face, right?
Right.
Or you dive into it because you really feel like I could always rise back to my level, but let me help everybody else reach their optimal levels. KD takes that and expands it. He goes beyond intelligence and he gets into a world we call he's too sensitive. His sensitivity is something that I think is really genius. Think about it. Michael Jordan sat up there in his Hall of Fame speech crying about all the little things, all the slights, all the things that got to him that he never wore on his sleeve, but it was his motivation. KD is like, I'm gonna wear it on my sleeve. I'm going to attack it in the moment. And I'm going to use all that as my fuel in the moment and expand my greatness. It's amazing how sports is a microcosm of life. And then KD is like, I'm using a life principle in sports. That means if you do something to me, I will have an equal and opposite response. And he does it on the court every single time. And he doesn't get caught up in the little battles. He gets caught up in the big picture, always in mind, while still reminding you of his greatness. Intelligence and sensitivity, we've given it the wrong connotation. It's amazing when KD performs.
I'm going to push back just a little bit because I think early in KD's career, and maybe Kendrick can speak to this, he wasn't as vocal, outspoken. His sensitivity did come out. I don't think it was a direct, precise measure as far as how he's going to control the narrative. I think it was just him. I think he's grown into now being at Golden State a more vocal person. He's always been intelligent, but we haven't seen that side of him to his growth, okay, which is now to where he's at.
Let me ask you this, Jim. Because I think sometimes silence is the biggest sign of intelligence. When he's young, he's just taking it all in and learning. Now that he's a full-grown man, now it's time to speak.
Well, and it's also a wise man listens, okay, then he speaks. But I don't know if he was, from a strategic perspective, saying I'm going to use this as a platform to later show my intelligence as I get older.
Oh, it was strategic, but I'll get to that. It was definitely strategic.
I think as he's grown, he understands how to maneuver and utilize that, and now he's speaking out a lot more. And Kendra, you can speak to this a little bit more.
Well, he has grown, but let me enlighten y'all on something. When KD was in OKC, he couldn't be KD. He always been intelligent. Ever since I got traded to the Thunder in 2011, KD has always been an intelligent human being. He knows the game of basketball. He knows things that goes on in the world. He is really, really smart. He left OKC and he was able to be KD. He was able to be outspoken. And there's no knock on the Thunder organization, but they mimic the Spurs organization. Sam Presti grew up under Greg Popovich. So their culture is a lot different. They run their organization the same way. And so when KD left to go to Golden State, now y'all able to see KD speak out and say different things and go about handling things the way he need to handle it because he's able to do that. He has the freedom now. And the freedom to be Kevin.
I like that point. He said Greg Popovich controls everything. Sam Presti, these guys trying to mimic that.
Yeah, I mean, I think this was really a calculated response from a guy who walks into the room, first must read the room, understand the dynamics of it. And that's intelligence as well. When to apply pressure and when to stand back and let others do it. We saw Russell Westbrook and how he was maniacal in his way of playing the game. And Kevin Durant kind of played the 1B of that. But you know what? He also came out in April of 2013 and said, I'm tired of being second.
Oh, yeah.
And when he said that, it was quote after quote of why he's tired of being second. What happened the next year? MVP. Only MVP he's ever had. After that, I wanted a change in culture and style of play. Then I went out to Golden State, 2-time finals MVP. Like, all of this stuff is not just happening by coincidence. This is correlation to a person that says, you know what? Now it's time to hit the gas, and he's doing it.
And as a friend, I was mad at KD about going to Golden State. I couldn't understand it. I thought he was going home to D.C. And now, what do I know? Smart move on this.
But I'm gonna say this: I think it's a level of maturity that you reach when you're comfortable being who you are. I don't think early on with KD, despite his intelligence, I don't think he may be as comfortable, even though the culture was what it was in OKC. I think he's grown into where now I can take the bullets a little bit more. I'm more mature now. Once he got to Golden State, that's a whole different animal. And I'll say this too.
He's a man.
Intelligence, I think you take a lot of what LeBron did in the league in regards to manipulating the system with things that he did off the court. Look at what KD did with the boardroom. Okay, look what he did in Silicon Valley business-wise. So now he's maneuvering through all of these things, but the blueprint was set by that guy that's now in LA. Now KD is taking that a little bit more and advancing not only his off the court, I mean, it's on the court stuff, but it's off the court stuff.
I'm going to analogize it to my favorite movie, The Godfather. Michael Corleone was supposed to be soft, and you stay out of this, blah, blah, blah. And then all of a sudden it turned out like, oh, damn, he's the real genius in the family. That's what I think might be going on here with Kevin Durant. he is the real genius in the NBA, and he's starting to flex like that.
And I agree with you 100%.
Enough said.
Let's ask this question.
Okay.
Player 2. Will KD be a real challenger to Jordan's legacy and throne?
No. And it's unfortunate. This is not even my take. This is just my assessment of how the barbershop is going to let this roll. And you know how the
Go to the
world
barbershop?
Yeah, this is how this is going to go. They already slicing KD up. He's not even looked